Hey everybody, this is Soger. This is going to be my city-state tier list, and I'll also just describe strategies involving each city-state if it's relevant when I get to them. Before that, let me just get this out of the way. For people who are unfamiliar with me, I play single-player deity or higher difficulty, and my goal every single game is to win in the fewest turns possible. This is important because if you play a more casual game or multiplayer, these strategies or these rankings may not make sense to you because they aren't for the way that you are playing. This is all just, hey, will this city state help you win the game faster? Right, so now let's look at how I'm going to be ranking these city states. One, I'm only going to do our S, A, B, and C tier. S tier is in every situation, you should do everything in your power to get Caesarity of the city state. It is one of the most important things in the game. A tier is in almost every situation, this city state's going to help. B tier is you're situational. If your situation meets its needs, it will help, but there will also be situations where it doesn't help. And then C tier is going to be city states that the only reason to ever get Caesarity of them is for utility purposes, to do a levy war, to get early exploration, stuff like that. When I'm judging these city states, that's going to be judged by how good their ability is length of game, because there's plenty of city states that are very, very good at the end game, but that doesn't matter. The majority of the game is the early mid game, obviously. End game doesn't really have that much effect on the outcome. So it's going to be length of game, how important is their ability, what their ability actually provides, obviously, and finally the general use of the ability. Like, how often are you going to be able to use it? So something that is very situational obviously is going to rank lower than something that will improve every single game. All right, let's get going into the rankings. Trade districts are the second strongest district in the game. They provide 2 gold per turn to the capital, as well as 2 gold per turn for every city that has a market or a lighthouse. Starting right off the bat, you're going to have more trade districts than any other district if you're planning to win as fast as possible. When you're looking at best return on investment items, it is impossible. Well, not impossible, the Moai does exist, but it's almost impossible to beat trade routes for return on investment. They hold value length of game, so trade districts hold value length of game. Secondly, gold is probably the strongest currency in the game, as it pays for all of your expenses. It pays for your building maintenance, it pays for your unit maintenance. It's how you upgrade units. In the early game, it's how you buy and levy units, and it's how you trade. So gold per turn is like one of the most important yields in the early game. And if you look comparatively, like compared to, let's say, the industrial or military city states that give you one production, but only in specific situations, 2 gold per turn, every turn, regardless, is already stronger. But even if you are building a district or whatever, you're still seeing the return of that 2 gold per turn. There's no situation where you're not getting value out of this, and you're going to see the most overall bonus for this in almost every game. Bandar Brunei is the first trade city state, and its Caesarean bonus is +1 gold for trade routes going through foreign cities with one of your trade hubs. If that sounds really complex and convoluted for such a small bonus, you're correct. I mean, international trade is much weaker than domestic trade for the vast majority of the game. Up until you get to democracy, you're probably going to be sending mostly domestic routes. Two, because you're going to be sending domestic routes most of the game, you're not going to have trade routes in foreign cities that often. So there's just not many situations where you're going to see any value from this. And even if you were, the return on it is just so low for you to even waste the time to try and look around to see what the best trade route would be to utilize it. It's going to fall squarely in C tier. Cahokia is the second trade city state, and their Caesarean bonus is you gain access to the Cahokia Mound tile improvement, which is would be the best tile improvement in the game if it wasn't for Moai. Its utility is huge. One, it provides full housing. That's great because just like the other ones that provide full housing, that's cheaper than a granary and it's better than farms. Two, this provides one amenity the first time you build it for the city. So that means if you have Cahokia, if you build one tile improvement in every city, that is your first amenity for that city for mostly free. One builder can build an amenity for three cities. That is an amazing return on investment. It provides gold and food, but that is so irrelevant to its bonus. The main bonus is it provides one amenity early game. About mid game, a second amenity gets added for the second one. This is a great return on investment. I'll be honest, I have slept on this improvement for a long time. It is probably one of the most right behind the Moai. This should be one of those city states. If you see it, get Caesarity as fast as you can, if for nothing else, to put one of those tile improvements in every city before you lose Caesarity. S tier, there is no situation where you shouldn't want to build at least one. The next trade city state is Hunza, and their ability is for every five tiles your trade route travels, it gets one gold per turn. Now, this isn't a super huge amount, but the fact that you're going to have so many trade routes and they're all going to travel at least five tiles means this starts adding up very, very quickly. It's just a very utilitarian ability. No matter what you're doing, extra gold isn't going to hurt. From the second you're sending your first trade route, you're going to see a bonus from this by the end game. I've seen this putting out 100 gold per turn in some of my games, if not more. So this is just a very strong ability once you start your empire going. About mid game, it takes off, but early game, it's still providing. Like it's not S tier just because it does take such a long time to build up, but this is definitely A tier. It's not flashy, it just is nice. The next trade city state is Mogadishu, and their Caesarean ability is your trade routes are unable to be pillaged on water tiles. Are you playing Archipelago? If not, this isn't going to give you a bonus most of the game. Like I said, domestic trade is stronger. Most of the time, you're going to be domestically trading on the same continent or the same landmass. So unless you have two coastal cities, most of your trade routes are going to be on land in the early and mid game. By the time you're going to be sending mostly like trade routes going over water, it's going to be late game and it's not going to be as impactful if they get plundered. And there's also a Golden Age bonus that stops them from being pillaged. So really, this is just a city state that doesn't have a use, in my opinion. Unless you're playing a super water heavy map, then it's a little bit more valuable. Obviously, if you're playing Portugal, this is a whole lot more impactful. But overall, it's C tier. There's better options. The next trade city state is Muscat, and their Caesarean bonus is commercial hubs provide one amenity. Well, you're going to be building commercial hubs in most of your cities, unless they're coastal cities, because it's one of the most valuable districts. So getting a free amenity for building a district you should be building anyways is like the best return on investment. You're getting a free amenity, which is huge. It's getting you up to that 20% ecstatic level for doing something you should be doing anyways. It's rewarding correct gameplay. There's no situation where this is bad, but it's just not strong enough to be an A tier. If it was easier, like Chicoya, who like raid away, like you can settle a city and with Ancestral Hall get it on turn one. If it was that it would be S tier. But the fact that you actually need to complete the district means there's going to be about 10, 15 turns that you're not seeing the free amenity from this. But overall, very solid pick. If you get the opportunity, you should be Caesarian of it in most cases. Samarkand is the next trade city-state, and their Caesarian bonus is you get access to the Trading Dome, which provides 2 gold per turn when built and 1 gold per turn for every adjacent resource. And any international trade route leaving a city with it, or any international trade route leaving that city gets +1 gold for every trade dome. The keywords are international trade route. Just like Mogadishu, just like Bandar Brunei, it goes back to the same thing. International trade just isn't strong for the majority of the game, and this doesn't do enough to change that. There's no housing component, so right now this is just an incredibly weak tile improvement that amplifies a part of the game that isn't really strong to begin with. It's in C tier. There's far better options. Once again, if you're like Portugal, go ahead. Probably Samarkand would be great, but once again, Portugal plays slightly different than every other civ. Venice is the next trade city state, and their Caesarian bonus is +1 gold to international trade routes for every luxury at the destination. So you're counting on the AI to settle cities with multiple luxuries present, and it's international trade. This is C tier. You'll get a return, but it's end of game, and it's too little, too late. Yep, C tier. Zanzibar is the final trade city-state, and their Caesarian bonus is 2 unique luxuries that apply to 6 different cities and provide 1 amenity. These can stack in the city, so that means that you can get 2 amenities if you have 6 cities or fewer from Zanzibar. This is a tough one for me to decide between Cahokia or Zanzibar which one is better. Obviously, Cahokia can provide 2 amenities to every city by end of game, but Zanzibar is better in the early game because when you have fewer than 6 cities, you're getting the 2 amenities right away. And I guess if you don't go Ancestral Hall or if it's super early game where builder charges are hard to come by, you're getting the reward from Zanzibar right away. But both of these are like top tier. I can't stress enough how important it is to get to the +20% ecstatic level of amenities in your city if you want to be winning your game faster. That is the first thing that you should be focusing on. So Zanzibar, S tier. Thank you for watching my video. If you want to click the playlist, you can watch the other city-state categories and follow along for the other city-state categories I haven't finished recording yet. Thank you for watching and bye.